What's up, everybody? It's your boy Brandon Blakely, aka Brandon Lee TV, back at it again with another one. Welcome back to the Live with Brandon Blakely podcast. Now kick back, relax, and come take a ride with me on this fine Super Bowl Sunday. We had some mega matchups. We had the Super Bowl of the women's basketball world, Yukon, going into Columbia to try to invade South Carolina, but those Huskies got spanked. Oh man, South Carolina dominated. Ashlyn Watkins is a freaking superstar, people. She looks like a potential number one draft pick in a couple years. National Player of the Year type talent. She is elite. Tahina Powell has been the biggest pickup in the transfer portal this year. I don't care who you ask. My goodness, she was locked and loaded. 5 from 7 from the 3-ball? Man, they have completely turned a weakness into a strength in Columbia. Big time win. Of course, award-winning rapper Plies pulled up with the crock pot. He was not playing. And the number one player in the nation for the 2024 class, Sarah Strong, was in attendance. And we know Yukon as well as South Carolina are battling on the recruitment trail for her services. Plus, Caitlin Clark and I will fall short of the record and of getting a win on the road against Nebraska. Number 2 goes down? What? And then freshman sensation Hannah Hidalgo leads Notre Dame and their big 3 past Florida State. What a mega matchup, slate of matchups today, man. But before we get into all that, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button for all the latest and the greatest. And join our memberships. We got that exclusive content coming daily, weekly, whenever you need it. Now, let's get into it.
You are now locked into the Live with Brandon Blakely podcast. Here is your host, Brandon Blakely.
Oh, man. There were so many different predictions. We had a couple videos out that went over the keys to victory for both teams. I just want to say, man, Yukon, we know, was short-handed. The depth was an issue. They got worn down. They didn't have enough firepower. The defense was too intense. It was a very physical contest. We said Paige Beckers and Aaliyah Edwards would have to have superstar performances. And I tell you what, shout out Bree Hall, putting the clamps. I won't say the clamps, but she was making Paige Beckers work extremely hard, as well as Malaysia Poole Wiley got some time to guard her as well. They were making Paige work, man, and it was some open shots. A lot of missed opportunities for Yukon. I think they did well moving the basketball. They ran their sets, got some screens, you know what I'm saying, had cutters to the basket. They found good opportunities. They just did not make shots. You know what I'm saying? Aaliyah Edwards is out there trying to compete against a wave of bigs and Fagan and Kitts and Watkins. I mean, it's just so many bodies that was getting thrown at her. Yukon was hunched over, grasping at their knees, but right before, moments before halftime, man, you could tell, hey, them players was tired, y'all. The depth, the energy from the crowd, over 18,000 fans in attendance. It was a packed house. Ashlyn Watkins, just, oh my gosh, she was sensational, y'all, on both ends. Just the way she got started, finishing through contact, getting the N1, you know what I'm saying, hitting the mid-range jumper, showing the shooting touch, blocking shots, running the floor. I mean, she is a bona fide superstar waiting to happen. Tahina Powell, 5 of 7 from 3, really was letting it fly and was the spark plug for this group in the first half. They're a young group, but they have a very steady veteran who can set the tone for them. It was just an impeccable game plan from South Carolina and Coach Don Staley. In this game, I think most people were expecting it to be a little closer. South Carolina won by 18. It could have been way worse. You know, UConn kept fighting. But I think we kind of expected this game to be a little bit closer. But, man, it never felt like South Carolina was in any type of danger of letting this one go. Man, let's dive into the numbers. There were a lot of whistles in this game. But looking at the numbers, South Carolina shot an impressive 47.1% from the field, 7 of 19 for 3. Yukon went 6 of 22 for 3. We said the three-pointers would have to fall for them to have a chance to compete in this contest, and it was just a bad day for a bad shooting day. They shot 35% from the field. Yukon did 27% from three. I mean, it was a little atrocious out there. They were getting so many good looks and just could not convert them, guys. You look at the rebounding battle, we expected South Carolina to dominate that, and they did, plus 11, 49 rebounds, 33 of them defensive rebounds, limiting those second chance opportunities for Yukon. It was definitely one and done. They win the assist battle, the block battle, the steal battle. I mean, you just look at it. Both teams started off with a few turnovers. It took them both time to get in rhythm. They both finished with 13 turnovers apiece. It was sloppy. It was a little choppy at the beginning of the game, but South Carolina really turned it on. They went on an 8-0 run in the third quarter and really stretched this lead out and never really looked back. Yukon only 11 personal fouls. South Carolina more physical, more aggressive, and hey, they picked up 14 fouls as a team, as you can see. But man, looking at it, Beckers, Edwards both had 20 points. Edwards had 11 rebounds, but man, I'm telling you, they worked for every bucket. Like, it was a tough night. Uh, Bree Hall was hounding Beckers, you know what I'm saying? Just making her uncomfortable. But Beckers did have a few open looks she missed. Edwards competed hard, you know what I'm saying? Only Raven Johnson had more rebounds than her in this contest. So she definitely fought on the boards. KK Arnold was really good in the first half. I think her defense, I mean, she was causing turnovers. She came up with a couple big steals to save some points for Yukon in the first half. Just some of the impact that she had is not going to show up in the box score. But for a freshman being in that big moment and being thrown into the fire, I was impressed with her. Nika Mule Cole, he was cold. Just never really found a rhythm in this contest. The Yukon or the South Carolina guards were just a little too much. Ashlyn Shade, 14 points. You know, she was a spark plug, one of the bright spots. Played big, you know, as a younger player coming into this contest. She was not intimidated. So you got to salute to that. Beckers, Edwards did what they could, man, but Yukon just too deep, or excuse me, South Carolina's just too deep, too much firepower. There just wasn't enough in the tank for Yukon, man, to compete to their max potential in this contest. Flipping over to South Carolina, we mentioned Tanina Powell, 21 points to pace the Gamecocks, 5 of 7 for 3. She was lighting it up. That veteran presence, that spark plug, that instant offense. Love to see it. I also loved how Coach Don Staley was rotating these guards, man. You didn't really see Powell and Raven Johnson on the floor at the same time a whole lot this game. Both of them running the point guard with their respective units. So I love to see that. Kitts and Watkins were just incredible down low. Kitts had a quiet 14. It snuck up on us, man. She really got going in the second half, but she played really good defense, used her size on a smaller front line for Yukon, and she finishes with 14 points, 4 boards, tough buckets for her down low. She was, taking that contact and welcoming that contact and finishing through. Just love her game, man. Love that she can stretch the floor. She can handle it. She can pass. She moves well in transition, getting down the floor, beating other bigs. And Ashlyn Watkins has that same thing going on. 15 points, 3 assists, 9 boards for her, almost a double-double. And she was incredible in the first half. That defensive anchor, blocking shots, bothering shots, just completely taking that matchup with Aaliyah Edwards head on. And it was an impressive effort for her on both sides of the basketball, man. Watkins showed a lot. She's been really, really good in this limited time we've been seeing them play without Cardoso. Like, Watkins has really stepped up, and this team could be even better next year, y'all. I'm not trying to look too far ahead, but they could be even better next year. And you got Tessa Johnson, who was good from 3, made some big 3-pointers. Poole Wiley played some good minutes as well. Came in 3 assists, 6 points. You know what I'm saying? Like, just the depth, Fagan down there, 4 and 3 for her. Just another big body that was just imposing her will in the paint, man, with her size, her physicality. You know what I'm saying? Just a lot of different looks, a lot of different bodies, a lot, just this deep lineup, y'all. It's just so balanced. They got 4 players in double figures, almost 5 players in double figures, and pretty much everybody that played scored the basketball today. When you talk about just a well balanced, oiled machine, that's what we saw today from South Carolina as they stay undefeated. And they continue to pass the test after test after test. They're taking everybody's best shot, and they continue to push forward. And Yukon was no match for them. Let's be honest. South Carolina was on a different tier in a different class, and we saw that. And they won 4 straight against Yukon now. Like, they are the dominant program right now. They are the favorites for the national championship, and they look like they are running away with it. And it's crazy because we didn't start the season with that outlook. Losing your entire starting five, there were a whole lot of new faces. Players that didn't play a whole lot last year but waited their turn and were fully prepared to embrace bigger roles this year. They've got incredible play out of the freshmen as well. It's just sensational, man. They've written their own narrative. This is the Raven Johnson revenge tour. She continues to be the most efficient point guard in the nation, controlling the tempo, controlling the pace in every contest. And that's what we saw them do against Yukon. She's coming up with steals. She's just that glue player, that leader that, South Carolina can rely on to make plays, to rebound, to do the dirty work, to find the open shooters or the slashers in transition, man. Like that transition offense, the way that South Carolina can turn turnovers into transition points is just incredible, man. South Carolina has another big test against Tennessee. I'm excited to see Rakia Jackson go up against this front line, and they'll be back at full strength. But hey, Yukon, scrappy group. They fought. They played hard. Aaliyah Edwards took some tough bumps. She was on the ground multiple times in this contest, but it did not matter. It did not matter. South Carolina, man, it's just too much talent, too much depth, too much firepower, the defensive intensity. They just bother shots. They disrupt the flow of the offense for the other team. They're jumping passing lanes. They're picking pockets, ripping the other opposing guards. Like, it's just, guys, what can you do? We keep saying it, and y'all gotten on me in the comments about it, and I'll say it again. It does not feel like this South Carolina team has any weaknesses right now. We haven't seen them. Y'all call them out because all the national media is saying the same thing. Like we're not seeing any weaknesses. Last year, this team was getting hit with a bevy of zones. They were sagging off players, daring them to shoot. You do that this year, you getting lit up. Bree Hall, Pow Pow, Raven Johnson, they lighten it up. Kids, they lighten it up out there, and they have literally turn their biggest weakness into one of their biggest strengths. You have to play them completely different. You got to go, man. You cannot pack the lane against this team, and they're going to shoot you out the gym. That crowd is ruckus. It was a packed house. You got Plies out there, man. Out there, big, mega South Carolina fan. I love that he's bringing his following, his millions of followers, and using his platform to really shine a light on this program, on Don Staley, and they're fully embracing him as well. We mentioned the number one recruit in the nation was in the house, Sarah Strong, who both these teams are really vying for her talents, who's, been compared to Ryan Howard, who's been compared to Alyssa Thompson, or Alyssa Thomas, like just two incredible players. She's got that Maya Moore aspect with the versatility. You know what I'm saying? Not saying their games are similar, but just the versatility of where she can handle it, rebound, pass, shoot it from deep, is a monster on the block. And she's live watching this South Carolina team, packed house. We heard the chants, "We want Sarah." I mean, they're all in. And if they add her to this already incredible class, oh my goodness, y'all. Could you imagine them having the number one and number two player? Hey, Joyce Edwards, Maddie McDaniel, like this team, they could be better next year. That's the scary part. They'll have to replace Pow Pow probably in Cardoso, but you adding these freshmen and then giving a bigger role to Watkins, who is that next superstar, I think, for South Carolina down low. Still got Full Wiley, still got Raven Johnson. Like, this team is going to be scary for years to come, man. Well, speaking of young talent, we had a big matchup in the ACC, Notre Dame, Florida State, and Notre Dame continues to get great play out of their freshman sensation, Hannah Hidalgo. Maddie Westfield's been good. Sonia Citron has been incredible. That big three for Notre Dame is one of the best, and they're still missing Olivia Miles. Notre Dame took the win 98-94 in double OT. It was an instant classic for the Irish. Florida State actually shot better from the field, 50%, while Notre Dame shot 37%. But Notre Dame lit it up for three, knocking down 10 of them. And Florida State, known for their three-point shooting as well, being a little undersized, knocked down 11 threes. Both these teams like to shoot the three ball. Notre Dame shot it a little bit better at 41.7%. And they made their free throws. That really killed Florida State in this game, leaving points at the line, man, going 9 for 14, while Notre Dame went 16 of 18. Notre Dame, of course, more size, more physical, dominates the rebounding battle, plus 10, 54 to 44. And just looking at it, man, Hannah Hidalgo, the steals, leading them with that. 15 steals. And Florida State, another big thing aside from the free throws, 24 turnovers. You cannot have that if you're trying to win games. Maddie Westfield, 19 and 14, big minutes for her. Just incredible. She hit a big three-pointer, like just when they needed a play, she made it. Of course, we got to talk about freshman sensation Hannah Hidalgo, who is the number one scoring freshman. I know we hear a lot about Gigi Watkins, but deservingly so. But Hidalgo, however, is in that conversation too, leading the freshman class in steals as well. She had 27, 9, and 7, was flirting with a triple-double. She's always going to have a handful of steals as well. And then how about Anna DeWolf coming in, scoring 24 points as well, getting big minutes from her. We talked about the big three, but they're getting contributions from all over as well. CKK Bransford, 8, 4, and 5, stuffing the stat sheet. Sonia Citron, 18 points, 8 rebounds, coming back from that injury, looking stronger than ever. And Notre Dame keeps it rolling, man. And I think they could be one of the most dangerous teams in the nation whenever this group gets at full health with Olivia Miles. I'm telling you right now, this group could make a special run. They've got a good group as far as a good blend of veterans mixed in with that young talent that is just excelling. Hannah Hidalgo is just light years away from where I think most people thought she would be, but she's taken on that leadership role, that lead point guard role, and she is completely run away with it. And it's been incredible to see, man. She's a star, she's a talent. She's just a natural scorer, man. She reminds me so much of Trae Young, just with the shooting ability, quick tick, twitch, having the ball in the string, being good at the pick and roll. She's just, a elite defender as well, man. So it's been impressive watching her. Speaking of impressive, though, Caitlin Clark with a chance to become the all-time leading scorer in the women's college game. Fell short on the road, though, to Nebraska, and fell short of the record by 8 points. Now, she finished with 31. She was lighting it up for 3 quarters, but was held scoreless in the fourth when they needed her most. She had a couple good looks in the fourth quarter to give Iowa the lead or tie this game, and they just did not fall, man. And Iowa falls on the road, number 2 in the nation. They hadn't lost to Nebraska since like 2019, so this was huge for Nebraska. Looking at the numbers, y'all. I just want to note that Iowa had a double-digit lead coming into the fourth quarter. Like, they were dominating this game for 3 quarters, man. They shot a better field goal percentage, out shooting Nebraska 45.5% to 42.5. They shot the 10 for 32 from the three. Nebraska was 10 for 31. I mean, combining for 60 plus 3-point shots is just wild, man. And Iowa 9 of 15, leaving points at the charity stripe. It is costing teams games, man. I'm telling you, especially when you lose by 3 points. Nebraska 82 to 79 took the win, and those missed free throws ended up costing Iowa. I'm gonna tell you right now. Nebraska more aggressive on the boards, out rebounding Iowa 45 to 38. They also win the turnover battle, forcing Iowa into 16 turnovers, man. And I mean, we've seen other players step up lately for Iowa. Hannah Stokey, 15-6. She's coming off a 40-plus point performance, making history, one of the young stars on this team. Kate Martin has been incredible this season, 24-6 for her. They need a little bit more production though. Like, man, Gabby Marshall has not had a great season. They need Sydney Afalter out there making shots, you know what I'm saying, creating opportunities. They need these other players to step up. And in the fourth quarter, when Caitlin Clark, you know, was just cold out there, not really impacting the game, we saw what Iowa looks like when she's not effective, and it wasn't good. They got outscored in the fourth quarter, 27-10. 27-10, y'all. Clark finished with 31 points, 10 assists, 8 rebounds, dang near a triple double, and still lost this contest, man. It's crazy. Like, we see them, it feels like they turned a corner, and then they go on the road and lose to Nebraska. And there's just so much hype and just headlines around this record and Caitlin Clark. And a lot of people thought, if she went ahead and broke the record today and got it out of the way, it would be best. Others very excited that she'll have the opportunity now to break this record at home and in front of that home crowd and make history at the crib. So that's cool. But I know they're definitely upset about losing this very winnable game. It's their third loss on the year. They got Michigan next, and this is just a huge win for Nebraska. Like, this is a program, a program staple win. Shout out to Oregon transfer Jazz Shelley, man, lighting it up, 23 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds, making her impact, leaving her fingerprints all over this game. Natalie Potts, 14 points. Logan Nisley, 15. Alexis Markowski, 15 points, 11 rebounds, playing big down low. Man, I would not have given the edge to Nebraska's bigs in this contest coming in, but hey, they completely controlled the tempo and dominated the boards in the fourth quarter, man. They imposed their will. Nebraska made more shots. They got hot in that fourth quarter, and it was by far their best quarter, man. They didn't score over 23 points, over 22 points in any other quarter. Came in the fourth quarter trailing double digits and outscores Iowa 27-10. What is going on, y'all? We're still waiting. There's been so much controversy around Caitlin Clark. We've seen the Cheryl Swoops comments. We've seen social media kind of turn on this Iowa program a little bit because of the fans. Y'all saw how that uproar went on social media where fans were coming at Iowa because of those shirts. Don't be a Cheryl. Like, don't be a world champion. Don't be an Olympic gold medalist. Don't be the first superstar in NBA history. She basically wants the league, the first to have her signature shoe. We're talking about a walking legend. And they trying to disrespect Cheryl Swoop. That was not the move, man. We're talking about a player that Caitlin Clark probably has big respect for, and they got her looking crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's been a whole controversy, guys. It's been crazy just looking at this whole situation of the Iowa fans coming at Cheryl Swoops crazy with the t-shirts. Caitlin Clark trying to break this record. And then you got Swoops commenting on Gilbert Arenas' podcast saying that she could struggle, which, I mean, she could struggle as a rookie. We don't know that NBA franchise is going to build their whole system and their offense and their team around Caitlin Clark the way that Iowa has. There may be some adjustments. Respectfully, there may be some growing pains, and that's not a problem, saying that. We didn't see the LSU fans react the way they did. And she said the same thing about Angel Reese. I mean, that's coming from a legend in the game who knows how tough it is. We know how tough it is to make a WNBA roster, guys. We're seeing first round draft picks getting cut on the reg. Some of the biggest, most accomplished college stars coming into the WNBA are being cut and forced overseas. We're seeing that. Will Caitlin Clark come in and be effective? I think so. I think she's going to have an incredible pro career. But to be mad because someone expects her to have growing pains? Come on, guys. What are we doing here? What are we doing? And, the culture is going to defend their own, and people have come to the aid of Cheryl Swoops in big numbers and swiftly. And people are not liking the disrespect, man. It's not a good look on Iowa. you go on the road and lose this game. I mean, you're one of the most watched teams in the nation. You have probably the most popular college athlete in all of college athletics in your squad, chasing an all-time record that's probably never going to be broken. Let's focus on the good. Let's focus on the good, boys. So we ain't got to focus on all the other stuff. Let's focus on the good and what's going on and what's going right. You know what I'm saying? That's what we really need to be locked in on. But man, it was just an incredible day for women's hoops. There were some other big games as well. You know what I'm saying? Colorado, Oregon State going at it. Duke and UNC and OT, two teams that need a win that are, scrapping in the ACC. It was a lot of big games, a lot of big storylines. But of course, we have to talk about the biggest and rap about that, man. South Carolina continues to dominate. Notre Dame, Hannah Hidalgo leading the way for them. They keep on rolling. Hey, they're a fun team to watch, I gotta say. And then Caitlin Clark and Iowa with the biggest upset of the day, getting upset by Nebraska, man. That's tough. Tough pill to swallow, people. But y'all let me know how y'all feel, man. There's just been a lot of storylines, a lot of nonsense being talked. I think people are just overreacting at this point. But y'all let me know how y'all feel in the comments. Am I tripping? I'm just reading into all this. I'm just reporting. I'm just the messenger. So y'all let me know how y'all feel in the comments. Holla at your boy. That's a wrap for us. I'm Brandon Blakeney, aka Brandon Lee TV. This is Live with Brandon Blakeney. Until next time, we out.